And we are live, guys. Welcome to the Men of High Value channel. My name is Jay Darling, and today I want to talk about your purpose. We have that question. It's embedded within all of us. Why am I here? Now, the thing is that people give up too soon answering that question. And yet, it is a critical question. Okay, that you never should give up on, all right? It will take you years, perhaps, to figure it out. But I'm going to give you a small intro to it today, and hopefully that will put you on the path to finding your purpose. All right, too many people live their lives without purpose, all right? They don't stop and think about it, all right? And what ends up happening is that without their purpose, they end up not having any joy. It is having purpose that creates joy in life. Let me explain. One time, I had some really bad events happen in my life, okay, in other people's measures. And I heard from one friend who had spoken to my other friend, who had then said to him, nah, forget about it. You know, Joseph, he thrives on this type of stuff. He's actually doing completely fine. Everything's great. And hearing that my two friends had talked about me like that, man, that gives me happiness. Because to know that, you know, 99.999% of people would be basically depressed and everything would be like, oh my gosh, about their lives because of those events that happened to me. And I managed to be the one where they're like, no man, he's doing great. That's the type of person you want to be, all right? And it's true. I do thrive on bad things happen, but I'm not trying to attract bad things happening, okay? So it's just kind of like, we just have to realize that all of us have bad things happen to us. That's part of life, all right? But they're not bad. It's just the way that we view them that's bad, all right? Anything that happens in life has been, in some ways, has happened to us in order for us to grow and in order for us to learn. And if we can learn from each experience, those bad things will end up becoming less bad when they come around later. Let's just say, for example, a bad thing happens to me. I learn from that experience, and then the same event happens to me at a later point. Because I have the experience of learning from that last time, I'm more prepared now for the event that's come around again. But if I didn't learn from that first experience, if I just go through life not thinking about what can I learn from this, then basically I have to relive and re-experience and become more depressed because, oh no, this happened to me back then and now it's happening to me again and it's gonna happen to me again and again and again and again. That's not how you should think about it, all right? You should get excited from the fact that something happens, you learn from the experience, and then you move on knowing that I'm better prepared for the next time. The Boy Scout motto, always be prepared, right? Okay, so why am I fired up about life? It's because I have purpose. It took me 15 years to figure out my purpose, but I'm pretty much there now. I know my long-term goals. I know what I want to achieve. And the importance of the things that I want to achieve completely outlives me, all right? I will never be able to completely accomplish all the goals that I've set because the ripple effects of my life will happen beyond me, all right? Just like any of the successful people throughout history, many of these people weren't successful while they were alive. But the ripple effects of the things that they did and what they said and history that has been recorded because of them has created massive ripple effects that have helped a lot of lives, right? But it's, of course, also bad people, right? Some of their history lives on as well. But all of those good people who have basically fought their lives out for integrity, for honesty, for truth, those people, we get to live the history that they've created. We are literally standing on the shoulders of giants, all right? And we must learn from their experience, from the books and from history, what has happened, and not repeat history by living our lives with purpose, just like they did, all right? And we have to remember that life is about failure, and understanding that failure is the key to success. Success is on the other side of failure. So if you want to become successful and enjoy a happy life and enjoy tons of happiness, you have to fail, and double your rate of failure, or triple your rate of failure, or 10x your rate of failure. I made a video just a few days ago about the 10 businesses that have failed and the successes that I've had with just a few of the businesses. Without the horrific failures of the past, I would have never been able to succeed a little bit with the businesses that I currently have. It's the experience that I've accumulated and caused an exponential growth curve of learning and of growth and of understanding that has stuck with me, that is now giving me the ability to handle problems and to handle businesses and set up strategies and plans that work. All right? And it's so sad to me, right, that so many people are not taking the chance on themselves in terms of creating a side business that they can that can live on beyond their own lives, other than having a job. Only having a job and then sticking to that job, it's wonderful, and it's an honest day's work, right? And it provides for your family and all that stuff. But if you have a grander purpose, and it's not just about your family, but it's about thinking globally, thinking about the entire world and what you can do for your fellow human being and for their families. That's when things become exciting. That's when a side business actually becomes a necessity, because you can't just do it with that small job. Because that small job, you're only solving a small problem. But if you're creating a side business that can help millions of people in 10 years or 20 years' time, that is thinking larger than just the small now that you're in, all right? That's just a side note. Anyway, another life secret. Your brain magnifies intense emotions. So let's say, for example, you feel alone at a point in time. Maybe your girlfriend has broken up with you, or you have been really difficult with your best friend, or whatever it is. You suddenly feel so alone, no one wants to talk to you, or that's what you feel. You gotta understand that if it's an intense emotion, your brain will magnify it so that your self-talk will be, oh, I'm always alone and I'm always lonely, which is not correct. That is not the truth, because always is a massive word that encompasses a lot of time. All right? But if you think back, oh, well, actually 2 weeks ago, yes, someone was there for me and they cared for me and they wanted to spend time with me. Oh, yeah, that's right. I do have 5 missed calls from people who actually want to hang out with me. Do you understand what I mean? So you're actually not alone. It's just your intense emotions that creates that allows your brain to magnify that emotion to make you believe that loneliness is basically who you are, and that's not correct. But if we use that understanding about the brain and how it magnifies intense emotions, imagine the joy that you will have when you find your purpose, you work on your purpose, you take action and you fail and move forward, and then eventually start creating results when it comes to your purpose, imagine the intense joy that you have at that moment in time, and your brain magnifying that joy and telling you you have never had any type of joy like you have right now. And this also relates to being in love, right? If you feel in love, then your brain is telling you that you have never felt this before. This is a euphoria that's amazing. All right? Of course, it's happened to you before, but it's just that you're in the now with intense emotions, and your brain is designed in such a way to magnify that emotion and that feeling, and allows you to stay in the moment. So anyway, you got to start using that understanding of the brain for good, instead of just all the bad emotions and usually bad events that are happening in your life, and you're just looking at it the wrong way. So anyway, let's talk about happiness from a selfish point of view. Because, you know, like in Friends, when Joey talks to Phoebe, and he says, there's no such thing as a selfless act. Now, it's kind of funny, but in some ways it's true, all right? We always have an agenda. We always think about ourselves when we do something. What's going to happen to me if I do this? But there's nothing wrong with that if we do good. All right? Karma is awesome if you do good things to others, right? But think about it. If you do good to 10 people in your life, then that will multiply, so 10 people will do good back to you, right? But if you do good to millions of people, even if you don't get the million X back in terms of goodness, right? This isn't the only life we have. We're gonna move on. Our soul lives on. We're gonna get our bodies back. You gotta understand that. There is a God, all right? Which means that all the good things that you do now will multiply and create a ripple effect that will come back to you in terms of good things that happen to you eternally. Not just for this life. This life is so short, man. 2.5 billion seconds that we average in terms of life expectancy. It's nothing. All right, have you seen the universe? Do you understand how big this thing is? And for you to die and not be able to live on when your soul is intact and it can still live, trust me, there is a God. Trust me, there is something called immortality and eternal life. You just have to make sure you understand that if you do good to others, it will massively multiply. And if you notice how good it feels to help the old person across the road, or help someone who's lost something on the ground, and you pick it up for them and give it to them, that joy will multiply by millions. If you start thinking bigger about your life, if you start thinking bigger about your purpose and understanding who you are way better than you think you are. You have a fantastic life ahead of you, and that's a decision, that's a choice. But it comes from understanding your purpose. So if this video helped you on the path to finding your purpose, like this video, subscribe to this channel. There's going to be a lot more nuggets to come. This is the Men of High Value channel, and I'll see you again tomorrow.